So thanks for tuning in, guys. This is Alex Callan with The Faction. I'm with Monique Pym, the lead vocalist of Sydney's Reliqa. How's it going, Monique?
Oh, it's going really well. Thank you.
So you guys have had a massive year with some announcements kind of coming out. I mean, Full Tilt Festival, Monolith Festival. How are you feeling for it all?
Yeah, pretty overwhelmed, but like in the best way. I mean, yeah, like the year that's been has been pretty stressful for everyone, and we've come into a lot of changes, and we're really excited to be getting back on our feet and back to playing shows again. I've really missed it a lot. So coming back into such exciting shows as well is like, hell yeah, let's just go. Let's just do it.
Yeah, 100%. No, it should like they should be really rad shows. And because you guys have just released the Bearer of Bad News as well. So that's
Yes.
have you been playing it live for a while, or will that kind of be unveiled at these shows?
We've been playing it live for well, only in 2021, I think. I mean, because during 2020, I don't think we played any shows. Yeah, none. And but Bearer had been recorded through 2020 in the times where COVID wasn't quite as bad. And obviously we had been ready to play it for quite a long time. We just weren't ready to release it yet because of a few internal things. But the the first time we played it was with on our Thornhill shows
Mhm.
in April 2021, and it went off. Like people really enjoyed it, but I think that now that it's actually out and people are able to sort of hear it in a recorded sort of like in a recorded way, I
Mhm.
think that it'll probably be more enjoyable live now because they've got a bit of context.
Definitely. And it's, got that familiarity because people can kind of hear it before the show. But
Oh yeah,
it is like,
exactly.
it's a really cool song. And I can kind of imagine for the people at the Thornhill shows, it would have been really special, I suppose, seeing it live for the first time because it kind of has those Egyptian, like Peruvian kind of soundscapes. And then a lot of your
So true.
vocals are delivered with like kind of a hip hop cadence. And it's got like a lot of different things merged and it comes together so cohesively. So I think it would have
Thank
been rad
you.
live.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, we definitely experimented a little bit with this one.
Mhm.
And I think that the sort of logic behind that I've sort of been leaning on is at the end of the day, like I guess our rationale, if you could call it that, is there are just so many sounds out there. There's
Mhm.
so many sounds to explore. And I mean, I've been saying it'll take more than a lifetime to explore all of those different sounds.
Mhm.
So I think we're just trying our hand at whatever feels good to us. And I mean, Bearer is quite different to the rest of our catalog, and you're so right. There is a little bit of that sort of more cultural soundscape to it. Miles had a big influence on that from his Thai heritage,
Mhm.
which is like something that we really look to for inspiration as well. Which is we're very grateful to have him and to have Ben now as well. So yeah, it's inspiration comes from everywhere, but we're really happy that people are receiving it in such a good way.
Yeah, well, I was kind of blown away by it, especially because I feel so many progressive bands nowadays sound just like progressive bands. And in a sense, it kind of makes you question, is it still progressive as a genre when everyone's kind of fitting into the same soundscape? And then, a song like Bearer of Bad News comes out and it's actually kind of pushing the genre and doing something progressive, which, I think is really cool.
I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for the kind words. Yeah, I think I ponder a lot on what the whole progressive thing means in metal and in music in general. And I think that I've come to the point where I'm starting to look at prog and progressive
Mhm.
differently. Does that sort of make sense? Like, I feel like if you say, "Oh yeah, that's a prog band," you know what you're sort of talking about. There's like it's really heavy on bass licks, and they've got some real techie sort of instrumentals going on. And then you think of the actual word progressive, and I think that if you think of it in the actual sense that you would use it, like as something that moves forward and something that sort of is forward thinking and innovative and stuff, you could put progressive on really any genre, on really anything.
Absolutely.
Um, I think that that's something so exciting about what we're trying to do and what we're sort of chasing is just this always trying to move forward from what we've already done. And of course, there's so many incredible artists out there doing that. In fact, everyone is always trying to one up themselves, which is how we should do it, really. But yeah, no, it's so interesting to me that you mentioned the whole progressive thing and the genre, and how Bearer doesn't really, I guess it doesn't really know where it sits, right? And I don't know where it sits, but I think in that sense, it kind of perfectly captures what progressive is, at least in my brain. For everyone else, it's something different.
No, I completely agree. And I suppose when it gets that refined into genres, a lot of the time what would now be referred to as progressive is kind of gent.
Yeah, so true.
Like a lot of bands kind of doing that, and there's really minor differences between those soundscapes kind of thing. So yeah, I think it is rad, and I think it kind of shows in a sense that you guys are playing Monolith, which is kind of like a prog metal lineup, but then you're also supporting Void of Vision, which that's quite different from all the bands on the Monolith lineup. So there's definitely kind of some exciting opportunities spouting because of it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like Monolith is prog central and everyone's so happy about it. And I guess that those sorts of lineups are what give us our prog card, I guess you could say. Like we're so excited to be playing with Carnival. But if you think about the festival as well, like this is actually a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Ocean Grove, right? I wouldn't call them prog, quote unquote. I'm doing air bunnies for the listeners. Yeah. I wouldn't call them prog, for example, but I would call them progressive, because what they're doing is so new and so exciting and so different. So, but do you know what I mean? Like, I know that it's almost a kind of what's the word, that kind of contradicts itself. Like prog literally comes from the word progressive, but I don't know, I think that you could sort of celebrate progressive in a way of like, you can have progressive pop, you can have progressive EDM, I don't know. Anything that's sort of going outside the boundaries I would call progressive. So that's funny, actually. Yeah, I guess, yeah, Monolith is definitely this sort of prog lineup, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we are going to be funneled into this prog band, gent band type sort of area, I think. And that's pretty cool. I think we're chasing that.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And, the sentiment about Ocean Grove is something that I've kind of considered a lot as well. In the sense that they kind of spearheaded reinvigorating the new metal sound. And a lot of bands have kind of come along and done similar things. And now it seems as if it's the rebirth of a genre. And when I'm reviewing, it's like, do I call it new metal? Like, I don't know what to label it as, kind of thing.
There is nothing that I love more than finding a band that you don't know how to label. I don't know, like, sometimes it is nice to have a label, because then you've got your playlists and stuff. It can all go in the same field, and when you're chasing a particular feeling for your listening, you know what to go to, which is great. But yeah, you're so right. Ocean Grove, like, they definitely, I mean, I would call them some like progressive new metal, I guess you could say, like, because new metal is very dirty. But I think that Ocean Grove are coming out with something a lot more like clean and pristine and sparkly, which is really cool. This has just turned into an Ocean Grove fan club, hasn't it? I'm all about it personally. I'm jumping on. Where do I sign up?
No, well, I think it's really cool that you've obviously, got a massive appreciation for these bands that you are getting support slots for. And, it's
100%
next step in your career. It's like bands that you'd probably be going to the shows anyway.
Oh, I would. Oh, yeah, like 100%. I would have absolutely bought a ticket to Monolith. I would have bought a ticket to Full Tilt. I think, no, of course not. I didn't, because we were already announced on it. But yeah, it was one of those things where, oh, do I have a ticket already? Oh, like, thank God I don't need one. Like, but that's so exciting. It's beyond exciting. And it's just one of those, I think the way that I best described it was like, it makes it tangible. Like when we actually go and play those shows, it's this wild dream that was never going to happen. And COVID really perpetuated that, because it's like, we announce these festivals and stuff, but then they get pushed back and pushed back, which is of course no one's fault, but it just makes it feel less real, you know what I mean? And it perpetuates that fantasy feeling of it, like all of this is just some weird dream, and this is just people like gassing us up, and it's not really going to happen. We're really just still in our garage jamming, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when we actually get up on those stages, and when we get to interact with these artists that we've been looking up to for so long and still look up to, that doesn't go away. I think it's going to become this tangible thing, this real touchable thing grounded in reality, which I'm counting down the days for that. I'm very, very excited.
I suppose if there's, you know, one band on any of those lineups that if you got the chance for them to watch your set at any of those festivals, who would that be?
Oh my God. That's a good question. Can I say Ocean Grove?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, like I mean, I'd love to meet them. I'd love for them to see what we do. It's so different. Like we don't, I wouldn't pair us on a lineup where it's like Ocean Grove headlining and we support, you know, but I mean, I think that'd be so fun, but like, it wouldn't be what you first think of, but they are definitely one of those bands I'm most excited to interact with. Carnival as well. Like, how could you say no? You know what I mean? Like, please, anyone. And then yeah, you've got like Make Them Suffer, and you've got North Lane on the Full Tilt lineups. Like anyone, any crumb of the artists playing on any of those lineups, if they catch a second of our set, I'll be grateful.
Yeah, no, that's a really awesome outlook, and hopefully it does, because as you said, you're already getting some sick slots. So, you know, I feel these shows are just going to open up so many opportunities for you guys, and especially signing with Open Door, like management. That's massive. So congratulations on that as well.
Thank you. They have been stunning. Absolutely awesome. Like I can't remember what it was like without them.
Yeah. So that's Josh and Chris. Am I right in saying that run that?
That's right.
Yeah. So that would have been, you know, pretty incredible kind of meeting those guys in general, you know, being.
Yeah, you bet. Of course, absolutely. Like, I mean, prior to them, we've been self-managed, of course, like any other band around our size and our sort of general coming up stage of life. And so I think that one of the most valuable parts of working with Chris and Josh has been the amount of knowledge that we have just been absorbing, and it's going to be like super valuable. I mean, if I'm being optimistic and also realistic, because we have a great working relationship, I feel like we're going to be working together for a long time. So it's not like we're going to run away and say, all right, thanks, bye, now we're going to take this all for ourselves, like all this information. But if we ever do find ourselves in a stage where we feel like we want to go independent, which is a lot of like things that a lot of bands do. I mean, Josh himself, like for North Lane, they've jumped into doing independent work, and he's the best person for that job. And obviously you can see where that's gotten them, so it's been fantastic. But basically what I'm saying is, if we do in the future decide to work independently again, this experience will have been already in the first year or two that we've been working together already invaluable, super valuable. And I feel like, we've grown a lot internally because of working with them as well. And just starting to look more three-dimensionally, I think, rather than in one direction, which I think is really cool.
Definitely. And is that something that has shaped up with, because as you said, Bearer was recorded a while ago, so I assume you guys have kind of been working on some new material?
Oh yes, absolutely, we have. We're actually in the studio right now. Well, not right now, but we're working with Chris Blancato on our next release. And so you'll be seeing a lot more of that in 2022. Yeah, we have been sitting on Bearer for quite some time, but all the stars just hadn't aligned yet, and of course COVID happened. And I think that it was the sensible choice to do what we did and wait a little bit longer. And we're really happy with the response so far. And now we're in a really good position for our next set of releases. So I think like that's going to be awesome.
Awesome. So can we, are we expecting an EP or an album or kind of a string of singles?
Yeah, there's an EP coming. All right, there you go.
Awesome. Hey, well,
Yeah,
we've got something to look forward to.
it sure is.
So that's kind of looking at mid 2022 or?
Nothing is scheduled just yet, so no promises on the dates, but I think that one thing, like one of the most valuable things I've learned is patience in this whole process. It's been so painstaking sitting on this craft that you just want people to see. I mean, Bearer is literally the prime example of this. You just want people to hear it. You just want it to be out already, But patience, and we're glad we waited. So I'm not going to tell you when it's going to come out because I don't know personally, but I know that when it does come out, it's going to be, well, fingers crossed, it's going to be at the right time and it will have been worth the wait.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we can look forward to that, and hopefully we can catch some new songs at Full Tilt, Boy Division, or Monolith. There's a lot of shows coming up, so if anyone's listening, definitely get down to one of them. I've been with Monique Pym from Reliqa. Thank you so much for having a chat. It's been rad, and yeah, best of luck with everything for the upcoming summer.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you so much.
No worries.